Ladies, if you meet a man where they prefer to do stuff with you online than meet you in person, run. Like, why tolerate that? My ex said that to me all the time. In like the last year, he like would rather go in his room and do, business on his own than come into bed with me. Like, it's literally laziness. They are so freaking lazy. They would rather get pics online, do it themselves, wow, the effort, than to come and actually see you in person, get a connection, get a vibe going, and see where it leads to. No, they want to do it online. You can get out of my freaking DMs if that is literally what you're after, because I tell you, on the daily, I get so many men wanting this, and I don't have time for it. I don't have time for that. You're lazy.
You see, the problem is, it's not actually laziness on behalf of men. Many men have just realized that the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Guys, one of the funniest things that I hear these modern day women say is things like, why don't men want to build a connection with me? Why aren't guys coming out here and paying for dates anymore? Where is all the chivalry gone? Why can't I find a real man who wants to build something with me, who wants to have a serious relationship? But what a lot of these women fail to realize, guys, is that they are not relationship material. Yes, a guy might come along, he might have his fun with you, okay, he might have his 20 minutes here and there, but that doesn't mean that he's interested in a relationship with you. And guys, one of the most painful things for these girls to realize, in fact, a lot of them never really do, is the fact that maybe not being a pain in the guy's ass will help you build a quote-unquote connection with said man. Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video, and on today's episode, guys, we are going to be kicking it off with an invisible woman. Now, guys, that's what I'm going to start calling these girls who just can't seem to grasp the idea that men are not interested in connecting with them on a personal level. Guys, have you ever thought to yourself that girls getting, shall we say, F-buddy zoned is basically the equivalent of guys getting friend zoned, right? They hate it when it happens to them, right? They hate it when they're used for one thing and then one thing only, and then when the time's up, the dude just leaves. But anyway, guys, we're going to be jumping into this TikTok, and then I wanted to show you an absolutely hilarious article I found about the female dating strategy just up and leaving Reddit for good, which, guys, I really truly believe that was us who did that. We've been covering FDS for a long time now, and I think they just, tucked their tail between their legs and left the internet. They couldn't be too happy about giving me continuous content. But let's jump into this woman's TikTok right here, and let's take a listen to what she has to say.
Ladies, if you meet a man where they prefer to do stuff with you online than meet you in person, run.
I just want to preface this video, by the way, guys, by saying that the caption for this, okay, is, if you are one of these lazy men, please go to therapy. And of course, guys, she wrote your, but she used the wrong your. She forgot the apostrophe and the RE. It's just an absolute mess.
Like, why tolerate that? My ex said that to me all the time. In like the last year, he like would rather go in his room and do, business on his own than come into bed with me.
Yes, right? And the reason for this is because just because you might look a certain way, like girls who are quote-unquote pretty, right, who think that they look absolutely fantastic, they always seem to struggle with this concept that men actually are not interested in spending time with you beyond the bedroom fun if you're a pain in the neck. Like, I know that's really hard to understand for a lot of these girls, but if you want to keep a man around, your body is not going to cut it. Right? You can have some guys come over. Yeah, I'm sure you can get a hell of a lot of matches on Tinder. But for relationship longevity, dudes are not interested in hanging around you if you're an absolute headache. Okay, and the guys that will put up with it, they'll really only put up with it for a certain period of time before they just leave you, or before they're just not interested in engaging with you anymore.
Like, it's literally laziness.
No, it's actually not laziness. I love how like a lot of these individuals misdiagnose. Like they always say that they want men to communicate, right? But when men communicate, they just don't listen. Okay, it's not laziness that the men don't interact with you. It's not the all famous quote of men are intimidated by me. Men are not intimidated by you. Men are not inherently lazy, okay? Well, some dudes are, right? But in this situation, they're not lazy. They just don't want to mess with you, right? And that's really all that it comes down to. But of course, right, if you're a pain in the ass to men, you can't actually self-reflect and say, hey, maybe I might be the problem. No, 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 it has to be men that are the problem, of course, because rather than have any level of introspection, we have to say that dudes are the problem. That's why my relationships fail.
They are so freaking lazy. They would rather get pics online, do it themselves. Wow, the effort. Than to come and actually see you in person, get a connection, get a vibe going, and see where it leads to.
Yeah. Why would men put in? You've already put yourself up. Now, I don't know, okay, if this woman has an OF account, but I'm just going to assume that she probably does, okay? But this is the fantastic thing about modern day liberation. The ladies have liberated themselves, guys, and now you can access them for a cost of only $4.95 a month, right? Can we just all round of applause, guys? Right, to the liberation that's been going on. Women have been, you know, fantastically liberated. Okay, they can go out there, they can get their jobs, they can put their body all over the internet. And hey, guys, if they want to do that, go ahead. But the moment you do that, it actually comes with consequences. If you want to be a pain in the neck, if you want to sell things of yourself online, don't be surprised when the dudes say, hey, what's the point of committing to this girl? What's the point of trying to build a connection, have a relationship with her, when there's like 500 other dudes building a quote unquote connection with her for only $4.95 a month? So you mean to tell me that these dudes are out here paying $4.95 a month and I'm expected to get a mortgage with you? Nah, hell no.
No, they want to do it online. You can get out of my freaking DMs if that is literally what you're after. Because I tell you, on the daily, I get so many men wanting this, and I don't have time for it. I don't have time for that. You're lazy, lady.
So let's talk about that for a second, okay, before we continue into today's article. She says that she has so many men on the daily. If you have so many men on the daily, and you don't have a successful relationship, that's on you. Okay, and this is the interesting part about the situation, is that if you have a lot of men on the daily, men actually don't want to commit to girls who are talking to lots of dudes. It's actually very, very off-putting. Right? One of the fastest ways, I've said this before, guys, okay? If you want to drive a woman away, push for commitment. If you want to drive a man away, one, be an a-hole, okay? But two, have loads of dudes in your DMs. It is incredibly off-putting. Guys, can you imagine, right? You get into a relationship with a woman, you get into a marriage with a woman, and her Instagram DMs or she has Snapchat. Like, what kind of wife, what kind of girlfriend has Snapchat? You see what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, you get 10 dudes text you a day, 15 dudes text you a day, you know, but you don't reply. Okay, why are they in your DMs in the first place? Right? If you're such a magical catch and that dudes should obviously want to come out here and build a connection with you, why don't you just go build a connection with the 15 dudes who are messaging you, you know, every hour on Snapchat? I'm sure you'll have a great time with that. But guys, on the line of why are men not putting in effort, I came across this article here today, and I thought you guys would find this absolutely hilarious. So let me see if I can hit the right screen here. Okay, so this title here, beautiful stuff. Female dating strategy has abandoned Reddit for good. Now, those you guys who have been watching this channel for a decent amount of time, a few months ago, hell, throughout the life of this channel, you guys will notice that I cover particular subreddits like relationship advice, dating over 30, all of these different subreddits where people talk about their dating lives. But one of my favorite places for content was the female dating strategy. Now, we'll get into what exactly they're about here, okay? But they've abandoned Reddit, guys. Like, they've just completely up and left. So rest in peace to the content that I got on the daily for this channel. But they've left, and guys, look at this. Former moderators of the subreddit described the work as quote-unquote hostile, traumatic, and unsustainable. Guys, can you imagine you're moderating a subreddit, okay, and it's something that you consider traumatic, there have been dudes who go out and fight for their country, okay, who struggle through battle and war. Those people are able to use this terminology, not some subreddit moderator. That is insane to me. But guys, let's jump into this, okay? So last week, this was actually a little while ago, a few months, I think, but I recently came across this article. So they say, last week, the largest remaining female-only community on Reddit announced that they were leaving the site for good. r/female dating strategy had over 240,000 subscribers in April, in addition to multiple spin-off subreddits, including r/female level up strategy, which also took its over 30,000 members offline. As an unabashedly pro-female community that demands, look at this, guys, demands high standards from men and encourages women to be intolerant of low effort male behavior in relationships, the subreddit was a lightning rod for the A word and harassment. I love how they always position these things, guys. Like, if you criticize an idea, like, you can always tell like where everybody stands, okay? Because when an idea is criticized, the group that has no legs to stand on will always claim that they've been, you know, harassed or abused, okay? First of all, it's the internet. If I literally had this YouTube channel, okay, and I stopped posting these videos, and instead of posting these videos, I posted, I don't know, like cute dogs or something, or I posted any sort of miscellaneous content, you can bet your behind that there would be people who would absolutely hate that. It doesn't matter what you put on the internet, you're going to have people who don't like you. Okay, but the other thing is, like, these individuals claim that, you know, it's all about the harassment and the A word simply because people disagree with your ideas. Okay, your ideas of demanding high standards from men is something that I find quite laughable, to be honest with you. Let's continue. After 3 years of viral growth on Reddit, the moderators have moved to a new website where they plan to continue hosting a female-only forum, sharing strategy posts, and distributing multimedia content. Maybe I've got to do a little bit of a look over here for some more content. That sounds like a good idea. So let's take a read of this. What is female dating strategy? FDS offers women a system to survive modern dating through a focus on self-growth, leveling up, avoiding men with red flags, and taking control of their relationships. Now, guys, let's just address this from the bat, okay? I have absolutely nothing against people leveling up, okay, or people avoiding red flags. I think that these are fantastic pieces of advice, but let's not kid ourselves here. It does not end at saying, oh, these dudes have red flags, or I'm a leveling up boss babe. Guys, there is straight up just absolutely man disliking content on that subreddit, guys. Like, if you're a man, you literally cannot post there at all. And you should have seen, guys, if you I would encourage you to go perhaps look at some of my older episodes on this channel where we cover FDS articles, read some of them, and you'll see just how upvoted some of the crazy content was over there. So I have nothing against these girls who want to level up in their career and avoid men with red flags, because to be honest with you guys, I advocate the exact same thing for dudes. I think it's fantastic when men are out here, you know, on their grind, avoiding women with red flags, but it does not end there. Given that, so, you know, the girls are struggling with relationships, guys, you know, they've got to survive the modern dating landscape, obviously, because women have it very difficult. Given that reality, they aim to provide women with the tools to end up in happy, fulfilling relationships that bring value to their lives, or to forego them altogether. The alternative is ending up in a relationship that brings a woman down, or worse, becomes dangerous and potentially the D word. You know what I saw of a lot of over on these forums, guys? A lot of man hating, a lot of don't date broke dudes. If men don't do this for me, if men don't do that for me, which, guys, like, here's the thing. These girls, they can have their standards, but the funny part about the situation is they're always like 30 plus years of age, absolutely strongly dislike men, and now that they're done with the chads, now they demand these relationships. Like, guys, this is a subreddit for women basically like over the age of 30 who have gone through a whole bunch of dudes, or who are in like highly successful career positions. I didn't actually see too many of those, but, you know, all the ladies who have run the CC, guys, and now they're ready for a real man, and they are here to demand things of men. Okay, not only are they here to demand things of men, which is, you know, fantastic way to start any relationship, just demanding things from people, but, you know, they just straight up don't like men either. let's keep going. Although FDS may not explicitly call itself a radical womanist or align with any political ideology, it is in many ways a modern application of a radical womanist thought. The community is against the P word again, and the B word again. They argue that a woman is better off alone than with a man who drags her down. They educate each other about early warning signs of DV and provide advice on remaining financially independent. And here's one of the key reasons women cannot leave the A. Guys, I love this idea right here. Okay, they provide advice on remaining financially independent. You know what I saw? I saw a bunch of threads, basically how to fish for rich men, how to get investment out of men on the first date, how to find a man who's successful, you know, how to get the most out of men. It's always interesting, guys, that when you come across terminology like I'm a strong and independent woman and here's what I demand, basically it means, yeah, I'm independent, but I kind of want a dude. First of all, they're not really independent, but second of all, I want a guy who's going to provide to me. Guys, I swear to you, there is such a strong correlation between these girls who say I'm strong and independent and wanting a man to do everything for them. Like, guys, on this subreddit, it literally talked endlessly about, you know, the ways to get certain kinds of things out of dudes, mainly money, investment, all of these kinds of things. And the reason why as well, I want to highlight this, okay? This part here, being against the P word, right? The reason why these girls were against the P word is not, first of all, they're only against the P word because it takes attention away from them. That's really all that it is. When they were the young, hot 20-year-olds, guys, they had no problem with men's attention going elsewhere because they were the elsewhere. Like, I always hear this line of argument, guys, where girls will say, like, oh, you know, older guys, why are they going overseas to find Eastern women? Why aren't they engaging with Western women? Why are they always going for the younger girls? Okay, why is a dude in his 40s going for a 25-year-old? And they get so offended by that and they say that it's bad, this and that. But guys, when she was the 25-year-old, she didn't have no issue with it. Okay, when the men were looking at them, when the men were giving them attention, it was all well and good. But all of a sudden, we get to 30 plus years of age, girls start saying, I'm invisible, and now they have problems with these things. Fantastic stuff. Let's keep going. FDS demands high standards of men and encourages women to refuse to settle. This has, unsurprisingly, made many men angry and many women uncomfortable. Between this and their strict process for ensuring a female-only community, FDS has been a constant target of smears and the H word. A 2020 article in The Verge compared FDS to the Manosphere, a collection of misogyny forums for men's rights activists and pickup artists, and in 2021, Jezebel compared the community to the RP. These superficial comparisons to hate groups, oh Lord, largely ignore the defining factors of these communities. The Manosphere is an organized effort to promote misogyny and violence against women. Interesting assessment. While FDS is an organized effort to survive under this constant threat. Yeah, this is just the complete opposite of the situation, but I mean, go off. Guys, I love how, like, if you say anything to disagree with women, right? For example, if you make content such as myself talking about situations where women cheat and you talk about red flags and stuff like this, it's like you're a hate group. Right, that's literally what they call these sorts of content creators, guys. Like, if you're someone who watches, you know, like I won't actually drop any names here, but you know, all of these things, anything that's critical of women in any sort of capacity is just considered like the absolute utmost evil of the world. It's really quite fantastic, guys. They want to keep all dudes basically naive and to the point where we don't understand what's actually going on, because a naive man is the type of man who's going to go through a marriage, he's going to have all of his possessions taken, he's going to have his children taken, and rather than the government have to pay the woman, he is going to pay the woman. Okay, there is a strong incentive for people to keep men naive. Now, what that means, guys, is that anyone who talks critically of these ideas, or anyone who tries to say to men, hey, maybe this isn't the best way to conduct yourself, then all of a sudden, you know, they are this and that, and they are preaching misogyny. Let's continue. FDS moderators describe experience on Reddit as traumatizing. Man, I swear, like, I made this point when we first came across this word in the article, but using this word is straight up like, it's just straight up insulting. There are men who have fought wars. There are veterans out here who have gone through things that are just straight up indescribable. They are the types of individuals who are allowed to use this word, not someone who's on a subreddit moderating it, especially in a female only. Like, you're basically insulating yourself. Right, guys, like anyone can come on my channel, for example, and comment whatever the hell they want. I personally don't care. People have said that I remove comments, guys, but literally the only comments that are removed, it's literally just YouTube removing the comments. I literally do not remove comments from this channel, okay? But these people have literally bubble wrapped themselves, right? So if you're a man, you're not allowed on this subreddit, or at least you weren't allowed on it, and yet they're describing the experience as traumatizing. That is just absolutely amazing to me, guys. In a podcast released on April 27, former FDS moderator, I don't know how to pronounce that, Savannah and Lilith, pseudonyms presumably, discussed the reasons behind the decision to permanently shut down their subreddit in favor of their own website. Primarily, they cite the constant onslaught of harassment FDS has endured, much of which is the V-word and graphic, and the misogynistic culture on Reddit, which enables it. Guys, if you go to Reddit, so I'm sure many of you guys have probably watched more than one episode of my content, okay? I frequently cover Reddit stories that are on very big subreddits. And one of the things that you'll notice about these is that it's not actually a misogynistic culture over on Reddit. And yes, I'm aware I'm pronouncing the word like that. You know, it's not actually a misogynistic space. A lot of the men on Reddit don't actually know any better. Like the dudes on Reddit who are talking about their relationships and stuff like that, guys, these are the dudes who are typically naive, who are going to get, you know, just absolutely run through the divorce courts, through their own relationships and things like this. Like the guys on Reddit don't really have a clue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those are the least misogynistic. Those are the men who are always constantly asking, you know, those are the men, right, who get cheated on, and then they go to the subreddit asking if they have permission to be upset. They have this, like, just absolutely and completely backwards. So let's continue. FDS is not sustainable on Reddit because it's such a hostile environment, says this individual. The moderators describe attempts to have FDS banned from Reddit by spamming the sub with certain things, blah, blah, blah. Moderators had to remain constantly vigilant and often became the targets of certain things. They list some of the threats that they received, etc. I'm not going to read these on the channel because Susan is always watching us boys. Let's keep going. The moderators say that they have had to report some threats. In addition to these things, mods say that they were often sent certain things that I can't cover. And let's have a look at some of these quotes here. Like, to these individuals, like, whenever I see things like this, guys, where people complain about online behavior, it just, like, what I get in my head, okay, is like 15-year-olds who play Call of Duty having worse experiences than these women, and they don't complain at all. Like, if you guys have ever been in any sort of like competitive video game where there's voice chat enabled or anything like that, I guarantee you those lobbies, those discords look a hell of a lot worse than the treatment that these women who are moderating the subreddit received. But of course, guys, they were traumatized, yet some 15-year-old who's playing Call of Duty in his mother's basement feels perfectly fine, right? Just the irony of the situation always seems to make me laugh. So let's keep going. Savannah pointed out that the work on Reddit moderators do is unpaid and largely a thankless job, while having to be so strict to maintain, a female-only space. Moderators would often be berated by their own community members for not keeping up fast enough with the demand. Sorry that our customer service isn't as good as you would like, you know, but this is something that we do for free, said Savannah. Meanwhile, FDS was actually generating revenue for Reddit, which, like many social platforms, depend on the content creators to drive eyeballs and clicks to advertiser content. Why should we be making money for Reddit, said Savannah, while being subjected to the A word, and we're not even protected from that A word. They actually enable it. Reddit has a long-standing misogyny problem. Oh, okay, so now that Reddit doesn't, you know, protect their inboxes, okay, now all of a sudden we have a long-standing misogyny problem. Right, so anything, guys, that's negative for the women on this subreddit, it's always a long-standing misogyny problem, or the universe is against us, or the patriarchy sucks, or this or that. Absolutely fantastic. Really fantastic stuff. In 2020, Reddit banned r/gender critical, which was at the time the largest radical womanist subreddit on the platform with over 65,000 members. Many other female-centered subreddits were also banned in the same wave or forced to go private to avoid being swept up in the mass deletion, including many health-related subs for women. r/pregnancy and r/whatever the hell that was were both targeted by trans activists and taken over by men. So Reddit is apparently has a long-standing misogyny problem because their subreddits were banned. Very interesting. Reddit and its MRA internet army claim that communities like r/gender critical and FDS are hateful because they acknowledge biological things and they do not center men in their womanist analysis. Meanwhile, P subreddits are allowed to focus on cis women only so long as they are certain things which I can't cover. So basically, these girls are very frustrated, guys, and I would encourage you to go back and look at some of the videos where I actually covered their posts. It's not limited to just discussing the red flags of men and trying to level up as a woman, guys. There were many disgusting threads that I covered over there. Basically, how to A-word men, how to get dudes, how to manipulate men, basically, was a whole lot of their content. How to treat men like trash, and they would oftentimes talk about the things that they require from men and about how men are terrible for not providing it to them. This is one of the funniest arguments, guys, that I see of a lot of modern ladies, is they'll say things like, you know, why don't dudes come out here and build a connection? Like the woman that we that we talked about at the beginning of today's video, this one right here. These are the future members of that particular subreddit that I'm talking about, and they always ask the same question: why don't men want to build any sort of connection with us? Like, where are all the good men going? Guys, this is going to be one of those phrases, okay, that in a few years will be remembered for a very long period of time, because you literally have armies of women out here who are frustrated at men. Right, they are incredibly frustrated at men, and I've always said this on the channel, guys. The reason why a lot of these women are frustrated with men is because they're selecting a small subset of men, and then they think that it's all men. So if you want to chase a very top percentage of man, and then you want to cry when he doesn't want to build a connection with you, or he just can't be bothered meeting you, perhaps maybe you should go for the other 90% of men that you consider invisible and treat like trash because they're actually interested in giving romance to you. Like, guys, when these girls say that they want romance and connection, what it really means is they want the dudes who are out of their league to come along and to give those things to her. Now, guys, we're going to cover a very quick Reddit story here, and then we're going to wrap up today's episode because I thought that this was absolutely hilarious and ties in perfectly. So, this is a post I came across, and it says, "A guy would rather go to the gym than hang out with me. Am I overreacting?" So obviously we have a woman here who's talking about her boyfriend or partner or some dude who's going to the gym rather than seeing her. So let's take a read. She says, "I've been talking to this guy every day for about 3 weeks now." Okay, so he's not your boyfriend, he's not your husband, he's not your long-term partner, and yet here we are going to be complaining about the fact that he is not hanging out with you and instead prefers to go to the gym. Makes sense. "We get along pretty good, but sometimes he says stuff which makes him sound like a dick, and I'll usually let him know." I love this, but by the way, this is actually probably one of the biggest reasons why she's with him, because the dude actually isn't afraid to offend her. He's probably also quite attractive, but you know, being willing to offend a woman is a lot of the time the reason why they actually stay there. The dudes who are spineless and the guys who never say anything to disagree with women, these are the dudes who women just like absolutely find disgusting. So whenever girls say like, "Oh, he's an a-hole," or he's disrespectful, and then they're clinging to him like glue, at least now you know why, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this, but I don't have any empathy for girls who complain about this, because that's the reason why they're there. "He lives about 2 hours away and was in town yesterday, so we finally met for the first time, and it was pretty good, and we both agreed we'd see each other again. He is leaving today, and I asked him if he'd want to grab lunch quick or something before he heads back home." Now, this guy is very into the gym. He goes like every single day and pretty much makes it his personality. He said maybe because he doesn't know when he is going to work out, and that he bases his day off of when he's going to work out. I asked him if he couldn't skip one workout since he's going back tomorrow and the gym is always going to be available, and he said no and got kind of defensive and rude about it. I kind of got mad since he'd rather go to the gym than hang out with me, considering I don't know the time we'll next be able to see each other. Yeah, see, you feeling entitled to a man's time is kind of like a man feeling entitled to your body. It doesn't feel particularly fantastic, right? So if I come along and I say, "Hey, we're going out on a date," but if you accept me paying for the meal, then you have to, you know, go back to have some fun with me. That's repulsive to women, guys. It straight up is. But of course, reversal, they somehow feel entitled to the dude's time. This is like, this guy, by the way, she's not in a relationship with him. this guy is not her long-term partner. This is not her boyfriend or anything like that, and she is mad because the dude would rather go to the gym. Like guys, in the same way that a woman does not have to give you her body, a man does not have to give you his time. Right, but they never seem to understand that. It's like, it's the same thing as these girls who will complain about things such as, oh, why do men ghost me? But yet they'll ghost 10 times more men than they've been ghosted. So like, am I supposed to have empathy? Absolutely not. I got sort of short with my responses and didn't respond to one of his messages last night, and now we haven't said anything to each other all day. So basically, she's just chasing him to hang out, and she's mad he won't. To me, the ball is in his court, so I'm not sure if I should just say anything or let it be and see if he texts. Am I overreacting to this, or is it justified to be a little pissed off in this situation? And this particular post here has 500 upvotes on it and 474 comments, guys, because obviously the women are out here doing it rough in dating. But guys, we're going to be leaving it there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Don't forget to share, any thoughts that you have about the things that we've covered here today. Don't forget to subscribe to our other content creators, Hadan from Peace of Mind and Detective Warg. Guys, if you're interested in my content, you like the content that we make over here, make sure that you show them some love. Their channels will be linked in the video description. But otherwise, guys, make sure that you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.